190,000 truck drivers about to lose their license? That's right, you heard me correctly. Nearly 190,000 truck drivers could be forced off the road under a new federal rule. So what does this actually mean to the industry when you have so many CDL holders that are completely gone? That's right. What happens when thousands of CDL holders are no longer part of the actual CDL industry? This could reshape the trucking industry as a whole. Things like freight costs and maybe even your paycheck could get affected. In this video, we're going to break everything down for you to tell you exactly what's happening so you don't get caught with your pants down. No one wants to see your underwear here. Alright, so let's kind of give you the headlines. The U.S. Department of Transportation, or the DOT, just announced strict new rules that block many non-citizens from actually renewing their CDL license. This comes after a string of fatal crashes earlier this year, including one in Florida involving drivers who officials say they should have never actually been licensed in the first place. So what does this actually mean? Because of all of these fatalities that have been happening this year, the federal government is actually cracking down to see, okay, where are all the gaps in the system and how do we plug these gaps to make sure that we put safe drivers on the road for long term so everybody is safe. This is not a political argument. This is about keeping the road safe and ultimately to make sure everyone stays on the road to freedom. So what is actually the problem here? So as the federal government is investigating more and more, they've actually found 6 different states with systematic failures in their DMV process. So some of the states are going to be guys like California, Colorado, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, and Washington. We've heard these states over and over again, and they all have problems at the state level with their DMV. Now let's kind of break down exactly what's happening. They're full of weak oversight, and they have a lot of sloppy errors happening with the actual CDL process itself. From a high-level view, anybody who actually has a CDL license has to have a few basic things. 1, they have to have a basic car license. 2, they have to be healthy enough to pass a DOT physical. And 3, most importantly, they have to have a social security number. If they don't have that, that legally means they cannot get a CDL license. Now, if you're not a citizen here, that means the only way you can get a social security number is if you have something like a work visa. And work visas have a start date and an end date. And a lot of these states that we mentioned before, they will actually not match the start date and end date of the work visa with the actual CDL license. In most states, the CDL license is actually going to be good for about 4 years. So imagine you're coming in as an immigrant, you came in on a work visa, you got your social security number, now you have a 1-year work visa as an example. What's supposed to happen is then you're going to go get your CDL license, and the CDL license should expire on the last date of your visa. So when you renew it, you can actually just now go back to the DMV and they give you another CDL license with new dates. A lot of these states were not doing that. They were saying, okay, your work visa is only good for a year, but we're going to give you a 4-year CDL license. And there's zero checks and balances because once you get a CDL license, any company out there can actually hire you. So that is the big crack in the system that the federal government is trying to close down to make sure that people who are on the road should actually be on the road. So when you actually think about it, how do we close the loop? Until now, a lot of non-citizens could get their CDL license with nothing more than just a work authorization document. And that's okay for the most cases, but as long as the dates match like we talked about. That loophole is now closed. To a certain extent, the Trump administration is using this as an opportunity to attack blue states like California. However, this loophole is a big problem that allowed people who shouldn't get their license actually drive vehicles that they're not properly trained to drive or have the legal authority to keep doing so. From here on, only certain visa holders like H-2A, H-2B, or E-2 and some other U.S. territory residents will qualify. That means everyone else that has a different type of visa than these that we just mentioned will be disqualified, that's right, disqualified when it's time to renew your license. So now there's going to be new rules for the states. DMVs across the country now have new marching orders to follow. They must check immigration status through all the systems that they have available to themselves, make sure they keep in applications on file for at least 2 years. They have to limit renewals on their license for either 1 year or until the visa expires. And they must require everyone who is a non-citizen and they want to renew their CDL license must come in person to show them all these new documents to make sure that they should continue on with their CDL license career. Now, that being said, who's actually impacted? So one of the cool things about this is it's not retroactive. But for the 190,000 immigrant drivers already on the road, renewal will be the end of the line. So if you're to take these 190,000 people off the road today, that's about 5% of the entire CDL holder market itself. And anytime the stock market moves 5%, everyone goes crazy. So imagine what winds up happening to the freight market itself. So let's play this thing out. What does this actually mean for the trucking industry as a whole? So when you think about it, fewer drivers has a few different effects. One, there's supply and demand, right? So when you have less drivers, that means the demand for shipping goes higher because the supply of drivers is low, which means shipping rates will continue to go up, which is a good thing. The downside of that is when shipping rates go up, consumer pricing usually goes up after that, right? But also the potential for higher pay for truck drivers who stay in the industry. So anytime there's a big increase in driver shortage, that just makes all the drivers who have their CDL license that much more valuable. That's going to be a great gold rush for anybody looking to start a new career, because now companies are going to be fighting for drivers and they're going to be forced to pay people more and more money just to attract new talent to their team. All right, so now if you're thinking about getting a CDL license and maybe you're a citizen, maybe you're not a citizen, as long as you actually have a valid work permit and you're under one of those visas that we talked about, there's not going to be any issue for you to actually get yourself a CDL license. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, what if I don't speak English that well? If you speak English enough to understand this video, then you are able to kind of get your CDL license. And a lot of our locations across the country also offer bilingual instructions, so we can actually get you comfortable in your home native language and get you ready to pass the road test in English without any issues itself. Whether you're a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or on a valid visa, we'll guide you step by step all the way through. So if this is something that you definitely want to take the next step on, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, find a location near you, and you'll find out how good we actually are. I say we're the best CDL school in the country. I challenge you to beat us. We're open up 7 days a week, so that means we could be flexible around your training. We're super affordable. $500 down is all you need to get started, and then we could work out an interest-free payment plan for the rest, and we even offer lifetime job placement. So if you are interested in taking the next step, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Again, cdldrivingacademy.com, and I'll see you soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to get your CDL license, you know where to go. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, right over there. And if you like this video, you'll definitely like this video right over here, so make sure you check that out. But before anything else, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.